Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Today we'll be looking at 8 high-level concepts that you should know to master building your commanderies in Total War 3 Kingdoms. This guide will act as the foundation for all my individual commandery videos on this channel, so let's get started. Concept 1. Commandery. Commandery was definitely not in my dictionary before I played this game, but they're essentially states for those of us in the US. For those of you familiar with Chinese, commanderies translate into jun. In the game, they are groups of 2 to 4 counties or individual regions on the map that share the same name. They always have a settlement capital plus 1 to 3 specialized counties. Commanderies provide income, population, food, military supplies, resources, and prestige in your empire. Therefore, building them correctly and smartly is half the battle in Total War 3 Kingdoms. Concept 2. Specializations. Based on their geographic location, each commandery is unique thanks to their counties. For example, in southern China, you'll find counties like rice paddies, tea gardens, and spices, while in western China, you find horse pastures and silk traders. These counties play a central role in determining how you should customize and build your commanderies. Let's say you have a trade port, then specialize in commerce income. An iron mine, focus on industry income. Or a livestock farm, then focus on peasantry income. Or you might just have a farmland that has an upkeep but no income, then consider focusing on just food. If you just have a horse pasture, then maybe just develop the commandery as a military base and just enjoy the steady supply of horses and discount cavalry units recruited throughout the game. Therefore, the unique combination of counties always determine the optimal build for your commanderies. Concept 3. Settlement levels. Now that we have talked about counties, let's turn our focus back to the main settlements. The game provides settlement level that goes from a level 1 small town to a level 10 imperial city. As you level your settlements, you gain a variety of bonuses like increase to population cap, walls and arrow tower on defense, more building slots, and more prestige. On the negative side, higher settlement levels also cost food, and increased populations create public disorder. Of the 10 levels of the settlement, the following 6 are the most important ones to remember because these levels are where you gain additional building slots up to a maximum of 6. Even more important are level 4, or a small city, where your settlement first get walls on defense and where food cost is first introduced. The small city also enables all building chains to be built, and unlocks most building upgrades to level 3 or 4, depending on the building chain. At level 7, or a small regional city, all building upgrades are enabled to their maximum level of 5. Conceptually, you might think that as long as you can supply the food, it is best to upgrade your settlement to the highest level possible. But this is often not the case, as high-level cities bring high levels of public disorder, which often turns your newly gained building slot into an upkeep-intensive building like the Confucian Temple just to counteract the increase in public disorder. And since not all commanderies are the same because of their specialized counties, some commanderies actually benefit by not upgrading to higher levels. Concept 4. Building synergies. Each faction in the game has some sort of unique building chain that often replaces the vanilla option. But since this guide will only talk about the high-level concept of the game, we will be reviewing just the vanilla versions of all buildings available. We'll definitely have a separate guide for faction-unique buildings in the future, so please stay tuned for that. In Total War 3 Kingdoms, the buildings that you can build in commandery capitals are subdivided into 5 categories, and we'll briefly review them in order that they arrive in the game. A few disclaimers before we jump in. This does not include any yellow turban buildings or go super in depth on each building. because just like the faction unique buildings, those materials are enough to be in separate videos. Okay, let's start. We have the economic buildings here that includes labor, state workshop, and private workshop. These buildings are largely related to industry income. The labor chain provides increases to population and in higher levels, industry income multiplier. The state workshop is the main provider of industry income, as well as the key way for you to fight corruption in the mid to late game. Private workshop is perhaps the single most efficient building in the game and acts as a multiplier for commerce and industry income, and should be built in all your commerce or industry commanderies. These buildings all give 10% discount to learning and market buildings from level 1 to level 4 and jumps to level 15% at level 5. If you want to know why, please check out my 5 elements video on the channel. Next, we have the agricultural buildings that include government support, land development, and grain storage. These buildings are largely related to peasantry income. The government support chain acts as the food and peasantry income multiplier building for your commanderies, while the land development chain provides you with food, peasantry income, and population growth. Grain storages are terrible and should never be built or upgraded, as their functions can be replaced by other buildings. Discounts work similarly to economic buildings, only these discounts from agricultural buildings are applied to military buildings instead. Next, we have the learning and market building. That includes the inn, school, and marketplace. These buildings are largely related to commerce income. The inn is your standard commerce income provider that also provides commerce income multiplier boosts. The school provides bonus experiences for your characters. It is vital in the early game to unlock a key reform and in the late game to help you achieve max level characters, but should otherwise be ignored because of the upkeep. The marketplace building is a trap, as most players pair this with their inn thinking it will maximize commerce income for them. But you should always pair your inn with a private workshop instead. By having the private workshop first, you get a 10% discount to your inn, and you can achieve a higher multiplier at max level with a lower upkeep and cost. Marketplace should be built later when you ran out of other ways to maximize your income. These buildings all provide discount to the agricultural building. Next, we have the military buildings that include conscription, military forge, and military infrastructure. Conscription provides boost to the starting rank of your retinues, while military forges provides discounts to recruitment of retinues and a small industry income multiplier. Military infrastructure should be your main non-income building in most commanderies, as it provides additional garrisons and defensive trebuchets in sieges. It is the better way to bring down public disorder when compared to the grain storage. And all these military buildings provide discount to government buildings. Finally, we have the government buildings. That includes the administrative office, Confucian temple, and tax collection. Administrative office provides a small income boost across all income streams and can be a strong corruption reduction building as well. The Confucian temple is purely used to fight public disorder, which make it slightly useless as a building with its high upkeep cost. The tax collection is an underrated and underutilized building. It costs 0 to build and upgrade and provides flat peasantry income at the cost of public disorder. Not to mention it also provides the 10% discount for economic buildings. Public disorder in the game is not a big deal, and you should not be worried about it. So next time you play the game, try to add this building to your playstyle, as it provides a lot of income for your early game. Concept 5. Assignments and administrators. Assignments are characters at court that you can use to boost income, fight corruptions, increase replenishment, and plenty of other things that's just too long to list here. The key assignment for building Commandery that we'll be focusing on is the Sentinel Supervised Construction. It provides a 10% discount to construction costs, saves you 1 turn of construction time, and has minus 25% building upkeep for the whole Commandery for up to 5 turns. This is critical in the early game, as these costs add up and these turns add up. In the late game, you find this to be less effective as you have fully built Commanderies and not so high upkeep costs. Assignments that also provide income multipliers will also improve the efficiency of your Commanderies. We'll see this more in play when we talk about a later concept of break-even turns, but it is clear that adding more income multiplier will give you more income and thus help your game in all sort of ways. Now, like assignments, you can also install administrators for your Commanderies. These administrators all provide different boosts depending on their skills, traits, and expertise stat. Administrators serve various roles for your Commanderies depending on these differences. During the build-up phase, a Sentinel administrator with high expertise stat is irreplaceable, as their stat translates to high construction cost reduction of 20% or even more. In full build Commanderies, you can pick more specialized administrators, like a strategist, that could provide you with 15% boost to industry, a 40% boost to commerce, or a champion that could provide you with increases to peasantry income as well as food production. Concept 6, break-even turn. This is probably the concept that you are messing up on most in the game, because it is not readily available for you to see. I kind of coined this phrase in my Taishan Commandery guide, but it essentially determines the relative worth of each building upgrade by calculating how many turns it will take for your investment in gold to break even. I have provided the formula here. Now, if this sounds confusing, let me try to explain with an example. So if you choose to spend the 1,550 gold and 2 turns it costs to build the level 1 inn building in one of your Commanderies, you are increasing your income from whatever it was by 110 gold, assuming you don't have any other sources of commerce income to take advantage of the multiplier, or any multiplier to take advantage of the increase of 100 commerce income. So if you divide your increase in marginal income, or the 110, into your cost, the 1,050, then you get 14.09. You also need to add the 2 turns it takes to build the building, then you get the break-even turn of 16.09. So this investment will take 16.09 turns to break even. This does not make it a bad investment or a good investment, because in a vacuum, you aren't comparing it to anything. This idea becomes vital when you have a choices of multiple buildings to build or upgrade, because then you can easily calculate the break-even turns for all of the buildings or upgrades and build optimally. Because then you know if one building has a break-even turn of 16.09 and another have a break-even turn of 30, you should always build the 16.09 first. Otherwise, you're leaving income on the table and reducing the amount of cash you have on hand for other uses like diplomacy or military. Now, I know most people who are sane don't want to do math during the game. So that's why you should watch my Commandery guide videos to find out the optimal build path for all your Commanderies, because I'm that insane person who did the math for you. Concept 7, adjacencies. This is another concept that's not so visible to the players. Your Commandery is considered adjacent to another Commandery if any of the counties share a border. Adjacency, despite being so poorly presented in the game, plays a vital role in dealing with corruption and trading territories, because only adjacent territories can be traded to the AI. Now, corruption is your Commandery's public enemy number 1. The game provides buildings in the state workshop chain and administrative office chain that give percentage corruption reduction to Commanderies and adjacent Commanderies. Therefore, the more adjacent Commandery one has, the more potential for corruption reduction one gets. If you think about it, a Commandery like Dong with 7 adjacent Commanderies can fully maximize buildings like the Coinmaker in the State Workshop chain that provides a 10% reduction to corruption to all adjacent commanderies. If you include yourself, that's 8 times the value for the building. Not only can your commandery provide more corruption reduction, the higher adjacency count also means they can receive more corruption reduction from other commanderies. Concept 8, exceptions. Lastly, I want to clarify that despite all this talk about optimal math and optimum theories on building commanderies, this is a game, and as a player, you have choices, and it's not my place to tell you otherwise. If you want to turn all your city into farms and maximize the population of China, as one fine gentleman has demonstrated on Reddit, then have fun doing so. My guides are just here to showcase some game mechanisms that you might have missed and to provide a way to maximize gold to aid you in other endeavors, like supporting more armies or paying for Sun Ren waifu in diplomacy on turn 87. Hopefully you enjoyed this guide. If so, please check out my other videos covering individual commanderies, as well as my equally informative Let's Play on the channel. Please also take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment below to further encourage me to make quality content like this in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.